Hello people, I am Jabby Kawai, this is Achara Kirk.
Hey.
We are going to look at the long-awaited Bahubali 2, the conclusion. Now, just to let you guys know, we watched Bahubali Part 1 in whole.
Yep.
I mean, I watched the first half on an airplane and then I watched the first half again with her along with the rest of it. We have not done our review yet, but the trailer's here. Let's do the trailer reaction.
अमरेंद्र बाहुबली यानी मैं महिष्मति की असंख्य प्रजा और उनके धन मान और प्राण की रक्षा करूंगा और इसके लिए अपने प्राणों की आहुति भी देनी पड़े तो मैं पीछे नहीं हटूंगा। राजमाता शिवगामी देवी को साक्षी मानकर मैं ये शपथ लेता हूं।
That's from the end of the first one.
Oh, the song is so epic.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What
Oh,
the
yes.
It's bigger than the first one.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, shit. Dang.
जब तक तुम मेरे साथ हो मुझे मारने वाला पैदा नहीं हुआ मामा।
Famous last words. What was that?
This is a super slow motion. I've come to avenge my father!
I want more! I want more! Oh my gosh.
So, I hope that you guys who are watching this right now have seen the first one so that we can speak freely. If you haven't seen the first one, then maybe you should jump out of this video because I don't know what we're about to say.
Yeah,
But-
maybe you should do that before watching the second one because I feel like it looks so cool.
Yeah.
And you should.
So I was looking at some early comments and there was people who were taking a shit on this for some reason. They're like, oh, the visual effects is bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, actually, the visual effects looks pretty good. It's an $18 million budget. No, American dollars, 18 million.
Yeah.
I don't know how that translates in terms of Indian budgets, but to me, as an American, I'm like, wow, they were able to pull all this off for $18 million. That's actually really, really impressive.
Yeah.
This actually looks better to me than the first one. It's like it's taking the stakes up, and they obviously were able to get a bigger budget for this one than the first one, so it looks so much like bigger and grander and cooler, and just the visuals are so pretty and so nice. Like I love the, I know it's visual effects, but I love the shot of the elephant in the
Yeah.
water. I've been playing a little bit of Zelda Breath of the Wild lately, and
A
some
little.
of these shots reminded me of that. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just like Zelda. It's so pretty. Like the lush green land, and you see the city in the center of all the greenery and stuff like that. I love that they got a strong female fighter in here again.
Yes.
I'm sure you're like this too. I'm kind of a completionist in a way. Like when I know that there's a story, I have to see the whole thing. Like I
Yeah.
finished all the Hunger Games books, even though I was
It started getting bad after the first one.
yeah, I was like, I have to finish it. And not that this is the case here. I'm actually excited to see where the story goes because the first one left off at such a weird point. I'm
Yeah.
like, it just stopped. It just stopped in the middle of the
Did
movie.
I turn to you and go, what?
Yeah.
Like, it can't end like this, you
Right.
know? Like, and I feel bad for anyone who watched it when it first came out because you guys have had to wait for so long. We
Yeah.
just watched it days ago.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, we don't have as long of a wait to find out why that guy did what he did.
There's this one shot where the main character, Bahubali, he slides down like this statue and does this weird tornado thing off of it. It looks fake, but it looks so cool. The reason I'm letting it go, even though I'm like, that looks like visual effects. The reason I appreciate it is because I've never seen that move attempted in film before. Like any movie, I haven't ever seen that specific thing, except maybe a version of it in like an old kung fu film. I like what they're trying to do here. I like the visuals. I like the colors. You know, the framing and everything like that. And just to finally see for you guys especially, finally. For me, I was actually waiting a while since the Jennifer Aniston Emirates commercial. I have like that's how long I've been
last year.
yeah, that's how I've been waiting to. That's how long I've been waiting to finish this story. And so now I'm like, oh, I see. Okay, feels like for me, it feels like it's borrowing a lot from two stories in particular, or two things. One is obviously 300. That's what I got from watching the first one.
Yeah.
And the other thing is the story of Moses. Because Moses was this adopted son who was not actually part of the Egyptian
Lineage.
Lineage. Wow. Part of the Egyptian lineage or whatever it was. He's Jewish, right? And he got adopted. He was a baby that was found floating. And then he had a brother who ended up having to, turn against and fight.
Except in this case, he actually is part of the lineage. He just got lost and now he's come back, sort of like a prodigal son.
Yes.
If you will.
Yes. I forget if he was directly part of the lineage or if he was like the brother's son or something like that.
Wasn't he the king's son? But then the king died
right.
he was a baby. The sister-in-law became like...
That's what I'm saying.
Regent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
But then she had a son.
Right.
So then they had to choose between the two of them and who was the best suited.
Right, exactly. The sheer numbers that we're seeing of people, I mean, it's hard to... The visual effects is good enough that it's hard to tell if it's real people sometimes or if it's just computer imaging because the sheer vast numbers of people, it's insane, some of these shots. It's reminding me of like a better version of Troy. Do you remember Troy? The Brad Pitt
remember
movie?
Troy, but I didn't watch it.
Like there was this one epic shot of in Troy where it backs up and you see all these boats for the army, for the Trojan army or whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah, that's clearly CGI. But here, it's harder to tell. I like when it's harder to tell so that I'm not focused in on whether it's visual effects or not. It's just I'm getting immersed in the story here.
Yeah.
I didn't really pay attention to the dancing going on here in the trailer. How did you feel about it?
I mean, it looks beautiful, and I enjoyed the dance numbers from the previous film. It's all beautifully shot, and all that slow-mo and stuff going on in the trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited for this. And I'm a big fan of like massive, epic, historical stories. I mean, I don't know if this is based on a myth or a famous story or something like that, but it definitely has that sort of ancient Greek, ancient Roman epic story feel, but it's the Indian version.
Right.
So, and India has such a rich culture and history as well, so it's really cool to see that brought to life in a film like this.
And also, Dad with the gimp arm can punch through walls.
I know! What was that? I was like, I mean, he didn't... I wasn't convinced that his punch could have done that, but...
According to movie, he is that strong. So I'm excited to see what the hell happens there. Because there's this old Jackie Chan film called Prodigal Son or something like that. I forget what it's called. But it's a Jackie Chan movie with Yuen Biao. And Yuen Biao, like, apparently broke someone's arm formerly in another battle. And so the guy, like, mastered the art of one hand. And Yuen Biao broke that arm, too. But it's still, like, cool that you have this guy who only fights with one hand. There's, like, a Street Fighter character, I think, if my memory serves me right, who only fights with one hand. And
but then you could just, I don't know, if you figured it out, you could be like, well, they have really bad reach on the gimpy side, so I'm just going to cheat and fight on that side.
I'd like to see you fight a martial artist with one hand who's like an expert black belt at this one arm.
This is assuming I am also an expert fighter, a la Chun-Li in Street Fighter, okay?
Well, enough about that. Thanks you guys for hanging out with us. Let us know your thoughts. If you liked the trailer, what you thought of our response to the trailer. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Check out Achara's channel, more content there coming soon. I'm Jabby Kouei. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.